Alright, man. So I took a look at your video. I watched it once, just before recording this, just to get some notes and stuff, and then now I'm about to go through it again, give you some thoughts of some things I thought you could improve on, some things I thought you did well. Mostly, I still don't really believe that you have a huge aiming problem. I mean, it could be better, but I think it's more important that you work on your team fighting and just macro play in general, because I think um, that will be the most helpful for you to become a better player and rise in rank. Aiming, or good aiming is good, but I don't think it's strictly necessary as long as you play smart. So we're just going to go ahead and just play through the game here. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip up to when you guys exit the spawn here. So what I like that you actually do here is you stay just a little bit behind everyone that's rushing out first. Oftentimes on all these maps, the second the doors open, people just eat fire strikes and Junkrat grenades and stuff. So I think it's good that you stayed slightly behind. And I also like that you took the longer route here instead of going right behind your team right around the corner. Because following right behind your team, like the path they went, is a good way to get sniped from anyone that's waiting around that corner. So I like that you take safe routes behind your team. Alright, so this is the first big thing I noticed. You'll see here that Winston right here is about half health, and Eichenwald is one of those maps where you need your tanks to be at full health at all times for you to walk through that choke, because walking through the choke without tanks is, it's difficult, and it's usually suicide. So the second that you see that Winston is half here, your main priority absolutely should be getting him back to full health. Personally, I would have actually just grenaded Winston here and made sure he got back to full health as soon as possible. And you see, you guys lost Zarya here, so the correct play would probably be just to peel back, but it looks like your Mercy and Pharah is actually already in the middle of that team as well, and then Winston just happens to jump in. Now, if you had grenaded Winston prior to him jumping in, you could still heal him as he's in the middle of the team here, and if he's grenaded, obviously the heal doubles, so this way you can keep a full HP Winston in their backline. And it would have been a pretty good push for you guys, even though you guys lost Zarya pretty early. Here he ends up getting pinned, so I mean, even if he was full health, he probably was going to die anyways if he got pinned. But on the off chance that he doesn't get pinned, a full HP Winston is enough pressure for you guys to just kind of walk through the choke here. So you get a good pick here. So this is one of those times that, better aiming and you would have killed the Zenyatta in straight free shots. But sometimes you miss shots and it doesn't work out. So the best thing is just to kind of move forward and see what else you can do here. Alright, so I like the call out that you made that Zen was a good player. I don't quite as much like the follow-up call-up or call-out that you're saying your team should, you should kill Zen, because right now Zen's pretty much hidden in the back line. So when you say kill a certain character, they're probably going to start looking around for that specific character and trying to kill them. Right now there's more immediate threats. I think it would have been better if you just called out that Reinhardt was slept, or just called out like targets that you could focus. So again, I think it's good to call out if you think they have a good player on their team, but in the middle of fights, try to keep callouts limited to immediate targets, essentially.
Zen low and Discord or not.
Alright, so you see right here, what happens is I'll just go ahead and rewind here. Okay, so I don't mind this grenade that you threw to basically push Zen off the point. I think it's a decent grenade. But I think your mistake here is that when you see that Mercy is basically at 3rd HP here, the most important thing to do right now is heal her back to full, because you guys need her healing and you absolutely need her res. if you want to make sure that this push is a successful one. So the second she flies
Zen
past
low
you
and
with a third HP, you should have backed off, maybe just slept the Reinhardt here, and just made sure she was healthy again before you did
discord or
anything
not
else.
discorded.
So what ends up happening is I think Ryan actually ends up charging the Mercy, and she just ends up dying. Um, so I think a part of the reason why you guys didn't just win off this push when I feel you guys should have is because your Mercy died super early, which made it difficult for you to keep up a feeling, and then everyone else just kind of died in succession.
Oh, there's a May. No. Get away from me. Let's kill May.
Okay, so I think this is one of those situations where I think you could have played it a little bit better. Missing the sleep dart here, it's not a big issue. I mean, it happens, but I think there's ways you could set it up to make it easier to hit for you. So let's watch your timing of the sleep dart.
Can't be dealt.
So here you see the Mei.
Oh, there's a May.
She pushes you back
No.
around the corner, and then as she comes out around the corner, you wait a little bit, and then you sleep dart, and then you just end up missing because she just kind of strafes. So what I personally would have done is I would have done it like a fraction of a second earlier, just as she was coming around that corner, because just as she's coming around that corner, there's no way that she could actually strafe out of the way of the dart. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about.
Can't be dealt.
Alright, see, so right now you see Mei. She starts freezing you.
Oh, there's a May.
You're half frozen. Obviously, she's gonna chase you at this point. There's no reason that she wouldn't chase you. So I essentially would just pre-fire
No.
right about now. I would just fire, and I would fire it in the path so that if she wants to keep walking forward and freezing me, she has no choice but to hit or get hit by the sleep dart. And I think that's a good way to set up sleep darts to make sure that they're easier to hit. If you're playing around corners, that is, anyways. So yeah, right now she probably should have been asleep. But now that she's in the open a bit, she has more space to work with, and more space to essentially juke your sleep dart. I also think you probably could have just aimed it, or you probably could have just aimed it like a little bit better.
Get away from me.
But that's okay. So the second she's frozen, and you've thrown the grenade and stuff, you really need to reassess what's going on in the team fight, because you essentially just kind of walk into the swinging Reinhardt here. So for all intents and purposes, you probably should have died there. I personally, right around here, I would have probably just kept walking around around that left corner there and tried to regroup with my team. It's really dangerous to walk in between enemies, because the second Mei saw you doing that, she probably could have just unfrozen and also killed you along with that Reinhardt.
Get away from me. Let's kill May.
And then here you just end up dying.
I should have gotten back.
So if you went around the other way, you probably wouldn't have died to Genji either. So it's mostly just being aware of where the enemies are and trying to keep yourself alive. So I'm just go ahead and skip forward a little bit here. So you missed the sleep here. Not a big deal, it happens.
You gotta bait out the wall. Do we still have a Pharah?
Okay, so right here, I have a big problem with this grenade right here. So you have to remember that Anna's grenade is extremely broken. It heals for quite a lot of health. It self heals for I believe 100. It does a decent chunk of damage, like 60, and the healing buff and the healing debuff is no joke either. So you want to make sure you don't waste your grenades. So my issue with this here is, even if the grenade hits here, yeah, even if that hits there, there's really nothing for you to follow up with, right? It's not killing anyone if it hits. There's really no team fight happening. So even if your Zarya deals a little bit of damage here, it doesn't matter that they can't be healed, because she's probably not going to do enough damage to even kill them in the first place. So I really would have liked it if you held onto your grenade and just waited for a better situation. such as maybe if Zarya actually ulted here, and then you could debuff the entire team while damaging them. That would have been really good. Or basically just wait until the team fight starts, so you can use it to keep your tanks alive, or I believe Genji starts fighting you a little bit after here as well. Yeah, so at this point, I mean, you could have also had Grenade up to help deal with this Genji. If this guy were like a really, really good Genji, I'm pretty sure you would have died here. But you have enough time to get a Grenade up, which is good.
Alright, back up, Summer. Back up, Farah. Let's get out.
We don't need him.
Okay, so the call to back up was good.
I mean, look at all the heroes.
It's really bad when people trickle in, so it's good to make callouts for people to back up when you can.
Well, I guess we have 3 DPSs. Make it work.
Oh, fuck. This isn't how it's supposed to happen.
So we're running Mei, Genji, and Hog. Increase good against L3.
Let's get at least 2 takes before they get back. Good job on that team fight right
Okay, so I don't really have any major issues with how you played that. Good callouts
Somebody's up top.
on the Mei and Genji up here as well.
Very low. Good job.
Go ahead and
Is that
skip
Mickey?
forward a little
To
bit.
our left.
Alright, so right here is a little bit of a tricky place, because Pharah actually dies here, and in my opinion you could have saved her, but it's a very tricky timing and decision to make, because right here when you lose sight of her, I believe you even communicate this to her and you were like, sorry, you're out of my line of sight. You actually could have just waited just right here for her to just drop and then heal her. But she dies pretty much right after, so your timing would have had to been really, really quick. I think the bigger issue is just your positioning's like a little bit off, because you see Pharah dies here because you can't heal her, but the bigger thing is you get split off from your team. And this is an issue because now you have line of sight to basically no one. You're also not on the payload, and you're also probably going to be cut off
Sorry, Farah, you were out of my line of
by
sight.
this Mei right
Like, I
here.
couldn't quite get to you.
So this is a really, really tricky place for you to be in, because you just don't really have much line of sight to anything, so try to make sure you stay with your team when possible.
Ah!
You pretty much played that as about as well as you're gonna get. Grenade, hit fire shot, and then melee. If you can hit all 3 of those on an ult and Genji, usually a good enough team will be able to cover you for the 20 HP that the Genji has left. So that's played pretty well.
Both tanks are coming back. Or 2 tanks.
So just go ahead and skip forward a little bit.
I think the maze was the mad. I heard.
Okay, so this fight was pretty good. You missed the sleep on the Reinhardt right at the start, I believe. Hang on, let me just double check. So yeah, I missed a sleep here. Not really a big deal. You get a good shot off on Genji. I think even maybe 2. Yeah, you get 2 shots off here, so that's really, really good. So he's pretty much already out of the fight. And the ulting Roadhog, you grenade, which is great, because if he's being healed by like an Ana off in the distance or something, this guy can actually stay alive for quite a long time. So it's actually really important that you debuff tanks that are like in the middle of your team so that they die as quick as possible. So I really like this whole team fight.
I think the maze was the mad. I heard her shooting.
Yes, she's still in the house.
Behind us?
Oh, you fucked it. Thank you, Sarah.
Genji's to the left. Up on the stairs. 76. 76, please. Genji.
Okay, that sleep dart, I really do not like that sleep dart. Because if suddenly Genji comes back and ults, or like your team gets into a fight or something, it's going to be really bad if you don't have it. And also that basically had no chance of hitting anything, because
Genji's to the left.
unless you were trying to like pre-fire in case he came back around the corner, But judging from his movement, I really don't think that was gonna happen.
Genji.
Yeah, so try to save your sleep darts for situations where it'd be more helpful, I guess, instead of just kind of trying to just fire it at randomly.
76, can you hear us?
Hold it.
I'm gonna ult you, 76, after that. So, just kidding, I'm not.
May's on the bridge behind us. And now she's dead.
Okay, I think this is fine for the most part. As long as you grenaded Genji as he got close to you, I think that's about the best you can wish for. Did you try to sleep here? Or maybe it was off cooldown. Or maybe it was on cooldown. Yeah, I think it was on cooldown here. Yeah, it was on cooldown. I actually wasn't really originally gonna say. I actually would have just used her ult before you died. Even if Mercy had res. But I actually didn't realize you guys capped the point already. So if you guys capped the point already, it's actually a good idea that you just held on to your ult, because even if you die here, it doesn't actually matter. But if you guys are right about to capture the point and you're gonna die if ult's up, for the most part, I think it's worth it just to use it before you die. Mercy does get a good res here, but thankfully, even if you all die,
Mercy behind you.
it doesn't matter because you guys are already capped.
You're pretty. This is a clean game, guys.
So I really don't like this ult because basically nothing was happening. So I mean, it's gonna be really hard for Fair to actually do anything with this.
This is a clean game, guys.
It would have been better for you to just wait for a team fight to start, or if you saw that Reaper was right about to walk into the enemy team for a flank or something. It's really not a good idea to just kind of randomly use it when there's really no kill potential. I mean, it's fine if like a soldier has ults and he has like high ground, and there's a bunch of enemies visible, and you just kind of use it on like out of nowhere. I think that's fine. I think this isn't really a good one though, because really there's no one to go for.
Back.
I am. It worked.
So it's lucky that Reinhardt actually got out here, because he probably should have died. But I would have grenaded the second I saw this, to make sure he had the highest chance possible of actually getting out alive. Because half HP Reinhardt that are that far away from their team usually are dead, but sometimes you can save them if you grenade and then get a couple clutch heals off. But thankfully they don't actually kill him.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, we're fucked.
Today we're
So what happens here? You just all got frozen. So shit happens, it's fine.
We're fucked.
You want to make sure before you get frozen though that you take the time that you're getting frozen, because it takes a couple seconds, right? It takes at least like 3 or 4 seconds or something. Take that time to just line up a sleep dart and then fire it just before you get frozen. This is really important if you're playing against like Mei or something, because, or sorry, this is really important if you're playing against Mei, because, you know, if she's 1v1ing you and you get frozen, because you can still hit your sleep dart, because she's just gonna stand there right in front of you as she freezes you, right? So, and you have time to aim it. So, make sure as you're all being frozen here, just to sleep dart, you know, the biggest threat that you can, because you have time before you get frozen to actually do it. So you really should have used it before you got frozen.
today we're in Reinhold.
Probably Reinhardt would have been the biggest target to sleep. I think even if you slept in, you guys all would have died anyways, but this is just one of those really small things that sometimes makes a big difference.
We're
Don't
still
lose
at
momentum.
Just go ahead and skip
Is there a
forward.
reason he's not responding to any of our calls?
He's too busy winning the fucking game, he says.
Alright, well, if you could pay a little bit more attention to our call-ups, like when there's a Mei behind us, I'd really appreciate it.
So again, I really like that you just grenade him instantly. That does a lot to put pressure on the Genji to, you know, not just go ham all over your backline and actually pay attention to his health. This right here is a really tricky position because you guys were cut off in like a weird, like you guys were cut off by like this May wall and there's pillars and stuff, and I think there's a roadhog going on as well. So yeah, in this case, I think he did okay.
Yeah, that works.
You know, just try to heal as many people as you can. Again, I really like that you grenade instantly. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say here. And then right here, I really like the positioning here, because if you position up here, it gives you line of sight to pretty much your whole team. You see a couple openings where the enemies come through, so you can, you know, spawn camp them. If anyone's like jumping around on payload, you have a clear shot at them.
Zenyatta's behind you guys.
Okay, right here, when Zenyatta ults, I would consider throwing a grenade right here, especially because there's a Mercy just right in the middle of your team. If you can grenade her so she's debuffed and she can't be healed by Zen, and you guys manage to kill her, I think that's a huge difference. You know, I don't actually know if she has res or not, but if she does and you guys kill her, that's huge. So I think right here it's worth using grenade to debuff Mercy, especially since she's in the middle of your team. Again, right here, that was completely random sleep. Try to use it to stop actual threats, you know, Reinhardt and stuff. Yeah, it's just pretty much completely random sleep. So Reinhardt actually, you know, hammers down here, and you know, you could probably stop his charge with sleep dart here. You guys probably would get wiped anyways, but again, it's just one of those things that sometimes makes a big difference. So I think that's pretty much the first round. Cool. So second point, or second round here where you play Reaper. There's really not too much to talk about, but there's a couple things, so I'll just run through them quickly.
You got me to pray that you're a good aim guy. Isn't that?
Okay, so right here, it's good that you peek after the Roadhog has used his hook, because I think you even noted yourself in this game that you don't really do much as Reaper when you're playing this far back at this specific choke point, and at most choke points really. You really, where you shine is when the team fight actually happens and tanks, you know, start fighting each other and things like that, and you can get in close. Right here, you probably should have actually just died to this Roadhog hook. So really don't try to peek Roadhog hooks as Reaper. It's really not worth it. You really don't do enough damage, and if you get caught out and die, that's worth way more than, you know, the 10% charge that you got from trying to peek it.
It broke. Well then fine, this time you're forgiven. What about the other times that it breaks? Do they have so many things to break it? Also, I need to keep it up. They have Ryan might have to have it.
Alright, so even right here, you noted, you know, you're having a lot of trouble getting damage in, and this is just kind of the nature of playing Reaper at chokes like this. So what I would have actually suggested is if you back up a bit here.
Alright, I'm really struggling to get kills, so should I attempt to flank them?
Right here. Okay, so even you're noting here that it's really hard. So actually what I would have done is up here, I would have just played up on top of the bridge, because that way you can get just a little bit closer, because obviously you can just stand on the bridge and just kind of peek behind the corner if you think you're going to be in trouble or anything. So I think it would have been better for a couple reasons. So if you're on the bridge, you're a bit closer, which means your shotgun does a bit more damage. And also more importantly, since you're on high ground, it's easier to get headshots because you're just kind of shooting down on their heads. especially for anyone that's playing, you know, right at the bridge, like hiding around the corner on those stairs there, it's really good for you to have the high ground up on that bridge. I think that's all I wanted to say
I'm not
about
killing
that.
anybody.
Oh, also it's really important for you because if you have ult, it's really easy to jump down and into the team to get your ult off, so that's also a really good spot for that. Also playing on the bridge, you know, if you want to get healed, you can kind of just crouch a little bit and then just, you know, back off to the edge a little bit, and it'll make it really hard for the enemy team to actually hit you. So you can actually still get heals while you're on top of there as well. So personally, I would have suggested playing on top of the bridge.
They're wasting time. As soon as we get a kill,
Because that would have made it a lot easier for you.
they're gonna keep feeding their ults.
That's what I'm worried about.
We're gonna bait them, get a pick.
Then we'll just go ahead and skip forward here. See, up here you actually start playing on the bridge.
Focus on a particular part of
You only play up here for a couple seconds, but yeah, up here it's way easier to get shots off, you know, and if you see that anyone's looking at you, like the Roadhog's looking at you, then you just quickly peek back behind the corner, and then, you know, eventually he's gonna lose focus of you. So yeah, you probably should have just stayed up there.
Thanks for the heals, Meow.
So there's this part where you get hooked by Roadhog. Alright, so Zarya gets a good ult here, and I think you get hooked right here. Alright, so the second you get hooked, and he doesn't kill you, just start firing back, because if Roadhog doesn't kill you the second he hooks you, Reaper wins that pretty much 90% of the time. You're pretty much still full health, actually, because you're pretty much being healed, and you actually just shift immediately out. So this is really bad, because first of all, you could have just killed the Roadhog, and also when you shift, when you're at full health, and there's really no immediate threat, because Roadhog's already used his hook, and the enemy team is stuck in like a Zarya ult, that's a really big loss of DPS, because you're pretty much in the team already. You know, you have no danger of dying, and then now you're just losing DPS because you're shifting out, essentially.
Right.
So, I mean, your team follows up well anyways. Everyone pretty much dies. You know, the Roadhog is still alive, but that's not a big deal.
Backcapping us?
You guys are being backcapped here.
Oh, it's Reaper.
So I'm just going ahead and skip forward again.
Capping again, I'm guessing? No, it's Genji this time. He went up.
So I think you do it again here.
Maybe back.
Right there. You see with that shift? You weren't actually in any danger of literally anything, and you're right beside the Zarya at full health with a Mercy healing you. This would have been prime time to just kill that Zarya, but since you shift here, it's a huge loss of DPS. And you know, if that Zarya was a really good Zarya player, your Mercy might have actually died here.
Genji's dead.
You know, so just try to make sure you don't shift for no reason, essentially. Shift if you're in danger, you think you're gonna die, and I think actually a situation comes up where you should have shifted and then you didn't. So let me just go ahead and skip to that.
Yeah, I think he got over. Reaper's trying to flank.
Alright, so you see the Reaper's trying to flank, you had to cut him off here. And this is one of the situations where you should have just shifted immediately. If you notice here, he gets a really meaty, like, meat shot on you. So you're full health. One shot, you're down to 100 health. This is your cue to immediately shift and get out of there and call for heals, because at this point, no, you're one shot from dying. He's still full HP. So you basically have a very low chance of actually winning this fight. So here is where you should have shifted, because no, you're low and you're, you know, in actual danger of dying, and you should have shifted out immediately and just called for heals.
I'm down. Got outshot by that Reaper.
And then when you respawn here, just a small thing.
They're about to get.
Just teleport to the wooden planks up here. Like, use your teleport so you can get back to the point faster. It's a small thing, but you know, seconds really matter in this game sometimes.
And you have about 20 seconds.
So, see, so this is one of those things where seconds might matter. So Zarya actually fires her ult here. And the ult basically just ends before you get there and you start ulting. Well, I think this is a wasted ult for the most part, because they're pretty much already dead. So if you just kind of look at their health bars here, they're pretty much already dead to the Zarya by the time you actually start ulting here. So for the most part, this is actually a wasted ult. But if you had to suck or a couple seconds to get there a bit earlier from teleporting, and you know this was a team-wide Zarya ult, and you got there in time, you know that might have been a full team wipe for you. So those seconds do matter often.
Get that Zarya. Clean up, clean up, clean up.
And then right here, I think it would have been a good time to actually use it, because there's a Genji jumping on your point, you know, there's a Zarya here, and if you guys kill him here, then the game is effectively 100% over. I think Genji actually even ults here. Yeah, so Genji actually ults here, and, you know, if you guys were really unlucky, he would have killed your whole team and then capped the point. You know, if he had ult up, that would have been really, really good for stopping that Genji as well.
Oh, rip.
But, it looks like you guys pull through anyways.
Good job. Good game, guys.
So yeah, that's pretty much the game. So again, I really don't think it's down to big aiming issues. I think there's just little macro things that you could do a little bit better. You could probably teamfight a little bit better, maybe position yourself a little bit better. And these kinds of things will go a long way towards making you a better player. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video.